Hello, welcome back to the Irish Furian. You'll have to excuse me, I've got a cold and a cough. So I want to share with you an insight and a memory. I want to tell you that for the longest time, for the first part of my life, I hated myself. Okay, so I was a man who hated himself. That hatred came about from neglect in the first part of my life. I didn't love myself, so it took people later in life then to show me that I was a person that could be loved, and that I had people reach out to me with no agenda of their own, just to show me that there were people in the world that cared. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. That's great, that's needed, that's necessary. But the point that I'm going to make here is that to find out about self, from self, to find out about self, sometimes there are memories, there are things which we can recall, which informs us about ourselves, which we didn't recall before. And so, one of these memories from me was when I was about 6 or 7, walking up the drive of my primary school. My mother had brought me to the school from our home up the street and left me off at the gate. And I was walking up the driveway to the school when a Down syndrome girl fell over beside me. And I stopped and she was on her back, she was crying and she was wailing, you know. And I could see that nobody was stopping to help her. So I reached down and I picked her up. And I'd forgotten that memory for most of my life. I had completely forgotten about it. And many years later, years later, it came into my consciousness and I remembered it. And I understood that if I could do that, if I was to behave that way before the age of reason, before the age of understanding, that my base metal was to help somebody in distress, that I could not be a bad person. And that was what I took from that memory. And that's what I brought with me now into the many years later in my life. So, but then to cap that off, when I went home that evening, my mother, she said to me, "Owen, I saw what you did today. And I'm very proud of you, you know?" And that was a really nice memory to have. So the point being that if you are a person who does hate themselves, you know, has a severe dislike for yourself, give yourself time. There are probably things, there are memories about yourself that you're not acknowledging. Good things that you need to bring to the fore and actually hold up like an hold up like a newly born baby in your hands up to the sun and go, "This is who I am. This is who I am. I'm good. I'm a good person." You know? And you need to do that. You need to be your own best friend. And this is how you counteract hate of self. This is how you counteract depression. This is how you counteract dislike of self. You need those memories. You need those insights into the self that will bring you forward into a better future. Okay.